say this calls for action, and now, nip it in the bud.
Michelle Pfeiffer? The only true Catwoman is Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather, or Eartha Kitt. And I didn't need molded plastic to improve my physique. Pure West.
Good morning, angels.
Good morning, Charlie.
I love it when a plan comes together.
It's time. Let's talk about music, movies, and mostly television from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff.
Good evening. Hey, welcome to the Good Stuff Live. My name's Dave Sunstrom, and as you can see, I'm surrounded by a bunch of really wonderful fellers who I'll introduce in just a moment. But if you enjoy talking about music, movies, and mostly TV, well, you've come to the right place. So let me go ahead and quickly say hello to a bunch of people that have been gathering via chat for at least a half an hour or so. First off, I can't see it anymore, but there was a super chat right up front from Kevin Connor, my friend in Canada. I don't know if he's actually with us. It doesn't look like he's in the chat any longer. Maybe he's going to catch it on a replay, but I wanted to say thank you to Kevin for the super chat. Truly appreciated. Superfan Spike Spikerson is in the house as well. And let's see, we've got Tom. Hello, Tom. Good to have you this evening. I hope you are doing well. Elf Dog 100 says, anyone remember Teddy Graham cereals from Nabisco? I do.
That's you, Ian.
Yeah, I do remember that one, but there was a host of them on Dave's channel that I did not remember at all.
Hey, those folks haven't actually seen that video yet, Ian. That's a super fan.
Oh, okay. All right.
So coming soon.
Okay.
A lot of fun that some forgotten serials from the 80s. I you know what? Typically my videos are all about television, maybe movies every once in a while. But I decided to branch out a little bit and talk about some forgotten serials from the 80s. So look for that in the next day or two. I'm still actually doing some final tweaks to it. What you saw, Ian, and what other super fans of the channel saw was in an advanced preview a couple of days ago. Let's see who else is here. Larry Penrose is here. The best thing about television in the 80s, no reality shows. That was a good thing. I you know what? I actually enjoyed a few of those reality shows right up front, but you know, just the entertainment industry can't get enough of a good thing. And boy, we certainly have a glut of them now.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, let's see quickly. Cindy D, welcome. Good to have you here. Kenneth Wilkinson, always a treat. Superfan Lance Chafin in the house. Larry Penrose, I think I've already said hello, but I will say hello again. And yeah, I love Pluto. It's great to just throw that on and put it on the Three's Company channel, the Happy Days channel. They even have an Andy Griffith channel these days. Wonderful, wonderful service, free of charge if you're willing to watch commercials. Retro Serials in the house and also on our screen. Good to have you here, Ian.
I was interacting before the show a little bit, just saying hi to everybody.
Nicely done. Ed Myers, welcome. McGanahan, Sky Jellyfetty, good to have you here. Tracy Rothmeyer, superfan Tracy Rothmeyer, always a treat to have you here with us this evening. And keeping scrolling down, scrolling. Georgia Ayers is here with us. I think I saw Danny Staten somewhere here. Rob Bacon is here. Terrell is here as well. Good to have you, Terrell. Hope all is going well with you. Danny Staten, there he is. Greetings from South Carolina. I saw him on he posted a little snippet of another live stream that he was on called Gypsy Road, which was a lot of fun. He was showing off his comic book collection on that. Great stuff. Danny Staten's channel. is called the Daily Dan Blog. At least that's my favorite of his numerous channels. There's other ones out there. The Good Stuff, or Daily Dan's Good Stuff, I think, is another one of his channels that's a lot of fun. Christopher Kraft, welcome. Let's see. Is there anyone else, or does that about? Oh, our friend Steve Tevis, who joined us live last week, The Life and Sad Ending. Good to have you here as well, Steve. Always welcome to pop on if you so decide to do so. Otherwise, we just love having you in the chat. Yes, indeed it is, Danny. It's go time. TJ921 Abel, welcome. And let's see. Matt Sweeney's here. Good to have you here. Benjamin Adams is here as well. Red 13 is here. Little Wing is here. Ismael Nunez, sure do remember Airwolf. As a matter of fact, I've done a video on Jan Michael Vincent. Ernest Borgnine, what a great show. Tune on White, No Crust, Mr. 79 Man, Larry Potter, Karen Lester. Boy, oh boy, we could just keep going down the list. And you know what? I feel like I'm doing my friends that are here with me a bit of a disservice. So I'd love to introduce them as well. Directly to my, if you're looking at the screen, directly to my right is my friend Justin Eilert. Welcome, Justin. Good to have you here.
Hi. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, Justin is often, most of you are used to interacting with Justin via the chat, but Justin also from time to time we get together and we talk about TV shows, whether it's Rod Serling's Night Gallery or most recently Three's Company. So great to have you here, Justin. But directly below Justin is Pat McCormick. How are you doing, Pat?
I'm doing great out here in California, not smoky California, happily. So yeah, things are great, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. And Pat, you're really breaking up. It's like there's too much volume.
Oh, okay.
Let's play with it a little bit here.
We're attempting a new technology today.
Yeah. Keep going.
How am I sounding now?
You're still really crackling.
It's a pro. Okay.
Yeah.
How's this?
Well, now it's still crackling, and now we can almost not hear you.
How are we sounding now?
Pretty bad. I don't know why it was sounding great beforehand.
Yeah, that's showbiz. That's the typical showbiz.
Do you have your old microphone?
Let me reconfigure here.
Okay. I'll go over to Ian. I'm going to throw you on mute, and I'll go over to Ian. Ian, how the heck are you this evening?
I'm doing great, my friend. Really excited to be here. Talk about maybe arguably my favorite decade. I do want to say hi to Emily Miller. How you doing, Emily? It's good to see you.
Yeah, super fan Emily Miller is with us. I saw her pop in as well. Always a treat.
Yeah, I mean, arguably my favorite decade is the 80s, 90s. It's 80s, 90s. You know, I kind of came up with both. I was a young man I was kind of a teenager, a kid to a teenager in the 80s, and then a young man to an adult in the 90s. So those are my two decades that I'm kind of caught between. And I was just a little tiny kid in the 70s. So I like them all, but 70s, 80s, and 90s. And if you're talking 80s, man, well, you know who's going to show up? It's ENC. I'm going to show up.
Awesome. What's your most recent video is a little bit off niche, but it's a good one, right?
It was a live stream with Dr. Brian McDonald from Brains on Games. Check him out. Really good channel. And I've had him on the show 3 times. And my show is about growing up Generation X, which is mostly arts and entertainment. But every once in a while, I'll do something a little different. And he was on there talking about like childhood development of the 70s, 80s, and 70s and 80s and 90s. And he was also talking about marriage counseling of the 70s and 80s, the big divorce stuff. So sometimes it gets a little serious, but then he also talked about role-playing games. And so when somebody's on for a few, I want to have them on the live stream now that I'm doing live stream and have some Q&A about some of the questions that, some of the topics that we've had. So he was on there talking about that. Mostly we talked about role-playing games and, it's stuff like that, D&D, that kind of thing. So, and including Dave Sunstrom, got to get you on soon on the live stream side of it. You were on for a little while for one of them, but I need to get you featured.
I'll try to join next Monday if I'm able. So
okay, all right. I will contact you and maybe work something out.
Sure.
Okay.
You guys hearing me?
Yeah, I think we can hear you. Is the microphone? Where's your microphone located on that headset? Right there. Okay.
How's this sound?
Better.
Way better.
Much better?
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know what? It's sad because before we went live, Pat was showing off this new microphone that he had found around the house and he sounded crystal clear. The minute we went live, I don't know what happened. If there's something that perhaps StreamYard does to kind of amplify signals or something, but it went crazy.
It's hard to say. I've got pretty bad broadband signal around this time of day too, so I don't know if that has a factor in it or not. But hey, you hear me now, right?
Yep, we hear you. You sound great. And as a matter of fact, I wanted to ask you. Now, the last video I watched on your channel was the one on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, which happened to drop like a day before the passing of Ed Asner. Thoughts about our friend Lou Grant?
Yeah, that was bittersweet. That I certainly didn't plan that. Didn't know he was ill. I think he didn't suffer much, which is good because I just heard an interview with him and Bob Saget not too long ago. Yeah, and he sounded like he was still working and ready to go. I mean, that's what these folks do. They just keep going and going, and the work is their life. Yeah. So, as far as I was concerned, Ed, he lived life to the fullest all the way to the very end and did what he wanted. And so
he did.
Very sad, and yet, like I say, bittersweet because he really has a legacy that's unparalleled. For most.
Yeah. When I posted my video about the passing of Ed Asner, I put sad news, and a number of folks kind of corrected me or at least challenged me on that, whether it was truly sad news, the passing of an actor who's lived an incredible life, has done so many things, shared his talent with us for years and years, and he passes on at the age of 91. I think most individuals would be happy with that level of accomplishment, that length of life. And to your point, I watched a clip on YouTube of Ed probably 9 months ago on a talk show, and he was still vibrant. I mean, he was old, right? He was 90 probably at the time of the interview, but he was still very much all there. And if you can be very much all there at the age of 90, you're a blessed person.
Exactly.
For sure.
All right. So welcome, fellers. Good to have you here. I see a super chat. I've got to get to it. It's from our friend, super fan, Tracy Rothmeyers. Well, thank you very much, Tracy. Truly appreciated. I've got a new one. I've got a new thank you that we'll throw on the screen. We're not going to get to Lawrence Welk yet, Pat. But, if there's enough super chats, we'll get to it. So I'm going to save it for the very last. So we may not get to it at all. Fingers crossed for you on that. So we'll start with the new one today.
No, I thank you. And again, I thank you.
So there you go, Tracy. Not only do I thank you, I really appreciate your support, but Mr. William Shatner does as well. So thank you. Truly, I thank you again. Let me pop off of there real quick, and let's talk about the topic tonight, which is 80s TV. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm stopping because we may get to Lawrence Welk before you know it. So, and Lance Chafin. So let me see what I can do here. Thank you very much for.
Thank you very much.
Grazie, gracias, danke, merci, spasibo, sheshe, arigato gozaimasu.
All right. Yeah, so we've got a ways to go. We're safe so far, Pat. But 80s television in particular, but we are going to talk about movies as well. As a matter of fact, what we're going to do throughout the evening is I call this game Blurovision 3000. Pat, I'm worried.
Oh, please.
All All right, Kevin. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, let's see. We're not there yet. We're not there. I think we'll go with this one right here.
And now it's time for a little dance, and here we go. Okay,
Stop giving this man money, people. I'm going to pay the ultimate price.
That's right. We're gonna. I love that song, by the way, the thank you song by Lawrence Welk. But that's just me. Okay, so here we go. So what I was saying is we're going to talk TV, but we're also going to play a game called Blurovision 3000. Okay, Blurovision 3000 consists of 5 video clips, favorite movies of Dave Sunstrom's from the 80s. I'm going to share 10-second clips. They're blurred out. You might be able to make out something. You might not. But what you're really going to have to key in on is the audio. Okay. And then I want everybody to keep track of their scores throughout the evening. But we're going to go ahead and start right now with clip number 1. And then we'll move on to a television topic. But right now, clip number 1, let me go over to it here. Are you guys ready? I'm just going to let you, we won't say the answer for a minute or two. We'll move along and then we'll share the answer. So here comes clip number 1.
Excuse me. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Could you guys even hear that?
I did hear it.
Okay.
It was very
low. That was
very
lower
low.
than I thought it was. I'm going to play it one more time.
Excuse me. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
All right.
All right.
Okay, we'll wait a second or two here before we share any answers. Let me see if let's go over to the comments really quick here. And Terrell says, Pat, is it just me or were you born a few years before Dave? I think it's just that I look old. Pat, you are a year or two younger than me though, aren't you?
Well, I don't know the answer to that, Dave. I think I'm older than you.
Are you?
I'm 1963.
You are. Pat is just, you know what? He's just that young looking. Pat's got a year on me. So you're a graduate of 81, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Pat's
I
got
am
a year
50,
on me.
I'll be 58 in 2 months.
And he's still got a full head of hair, right?
I do. It's there.
Look
See?
at that.
See?
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. The hat isn't a prop. I'm not hiding anything.
I didn't have that much hair at 23, Pat.
Oh,
well, curse of being follically challenged. Follically challenged. So Terrell, there you go. Uncomfortable question, creating an uncomfortable answer. But now you know. I think I am probably the oldest person on the live stream. Justin's our youngest. I know that for a fact.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain. What year did you graduate from high school, Justin?
96.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's youngest.
Yeah. So but thanks for asking it nonetheless. As a matter of fact, that reminds me, I was thinking, I got this great picture of this band. I don't know, truthfully, I'm not sure if who will know it or what. You know, you kind of had to, we usually talk about music, or usually talk about movies and TV, but I'm wondering if any of you guys can help me out in trying to figure out this band. And I'd love to see if anybody wants to throw a comment.
I bet Tracy Rothmeyer's.
Let's see if anybody knows this band.
This is Hair Metal 101 here.
Oh my God.
Is that Dave? No.
Okay, so let's see if anybody in the crowd knows who this. By the way, Cindy Pruitt says that we're all young and wonderful. That's very nice of you. Elf Dog 100 says it's Whitesnake.
It's not Whitesnake.
Okay. Mr. 79 Man says Cinderella.
Net 9.
Although that was, and Michael Grace says the same thing. Cinderella.
It is. I do not recognize this band.
Survivor.
Whatsoever. Might be.
Poison.
Not Poison.
Definitely. I think it's definitely the right era.
Ooh.
Night Ranger.
Ooh, getting warm.
Yeah, getting warm there. Night Ranger.
Loverboy from Canada.
No.
Kip Winger. that
No.
Kip Winger in the middle?
That is
looks
not.
like David Lee Roth, last from the right, but I know it's not. It just looks like.
Oh yeah. It does have a little bit of a.
It's not White Lion. I don't know who this band is, but I know who it's not because I know a lot of bands, especially bands that wear their hair like that.
I don't see.
Yeah, it ain't
These
Wasp.
are all good. Yeah. Oh, I love this one. McGanahan Sky Jellyfed. He says it's Barnes and Barnes. Our friend Bill Mooney is in Barnes and Barnes.
Look, I gotta ask: is that Pat there though?
What?
Over. I think I recognize the face.
So which one do you think is Pat? Ian, I'm curious.
Well,
which one do you think is Pat?
it's the guy furthest to my left.
I just noticed that.
You are correct, Ian.
I knew it, and I know what band it is.
Nice. So I got to take this image off so that we can talk a little bit here, fellers. So let me move take that image away.
Well, I don't know the name of the band. I actually don't know the name.
Pat. So that's Pat's band, and Pat, maybe you could. I'm going to put it back on the screen for just a second. Maybe you could talk us through the band members because you said they're all pretty talented artists, right?
Yes. That was one of the many bands I'd actually been in, but this was called Paris and Deville. Don't ask me where they came up with that name, but who you have here to the far right is Derek Sherenian. He's graced the cover of Keyboard magazine multiple times and is actually polled as one of the top rock keyboard players of all time. And so Derek and I were writing together at this time. This was 1980. This was 1985. The fella next to him is Jay Wilson, best rock drummer I've ever played with. The gentleman in the middle is Christian Taylor, who is my cohort and has been my musical partner for many years. He was in Kurth and Taylor, who I was on General Hospital with. He's an Emmy Award-winning songwriter, and he's a major talent. More interestingly than that, to his left is Dick Smothers Jr., son of Dick Smothers from the Smothers Brothers. And again, one of the most talented players. He was the bass player for this group that I've ever worked with. So this was basically a super group, yet not signed. We were in the almost signed. EMI was interested. It's probably a good thing that it didn't happen because we were the wild bunch too. It was a wild and crazy hair metal type era, and we lived it. And our hair almost survived getting teased up like that. Boy, oh boy. Mine not as well as the others, but there's the story behind that. I thought Dave would like that.
Well, seeing all that hair reminded me once Terrell asked that question about old age, and then it, of course, devolved into a conversation about hair and who has it and who doesn't. It reminded me of that picture that you showed me, Pat, and that was some amazing hair that you guys had going on. Do you, by chance, remember that photo shoot? And if so, how long did it take to get all that hair done?
I do remember it. We had two girls working on us, and the hair, that is. And it was
ooh.
Yeah, the hair. And so full on makeup. It was the era of pretty boys, let's see how dolled up we could get. And not speaking for myself, but these guys were actually really good looking guys too. So it was kind of easy for them. And then it was just tease it up, that spray, back comb. I remember that. And I remember eyeliner. I really hated having eyeliner put on me. I could barely handle it. But, you got to do what you got to do for the fans. I mean, you got to pay the price.
It would take literally close to another decade for grunge to get in there, and then no one worried about hair at all, right?
Exactly right. And I'm proud to say that all those guys are alive and well, and actually achieved some success in their careers, some great success. So, awesome. And we're all still friends. So that's a little flash from the past.
That's the best kind of ending to any story, is the fact,
It's
you're
true.
all alive, you accomplished great things, and you're still friends. That's the trifecta.
Exactly. And we're all sane too.
Yeah.
Smothers, but I love them to death.
That's too funny.
Brilliant.
Bad news, Pat. We've got another super chat here from James Blackburn. James, thank you for the support. Truly appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the live stream this evening. Let me see what I can rustle up for you while still trying to keep a Mr. Welk away from Mr. McCormick. Let's see. Although we got Elvis.
Thank you very much. 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 Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your support, James. I'm going to have to do this now because I don't know. I probably will talk to Kevin via chat at least, or through the comments of one of my videos. But if not, I'm going to wish you a happy birthday a month ahead of time, Kevin. Hope it's a good one. You know what? All worth celebrating. It's every year. Nothing like the present. Every day is a day to be cherished, and certainly wish you a very happy birthday. Okay, let's see what we got. So we got a bunch of answers. Did anybody want to throw an answer out in terms of our the Blurovision 3000 video clip number 1?
Let Justin take this one here. You go, Justin.
Yeah.
I just got it from the Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah. Michael's voice.
I
The
concur.
dance with the devil and the pale moonlight. I wish that had been a little louder. It was difficult. That one was. It's hard for me to know how it's going to sound on StreamYard sometimes.
Yeah,
but that one is.
You had it blurred really well too.
I did.
You didn't.
Really well.
I used to watch these shows like about people who were like on the lam or, in CIA hiding or whatever. And they'd come on Oprah or something, right, and they'd blur their face and you could like totally tell who it was. It's just like, I think that they're going to die, but not this one. This one was really blurred out.
Well, and it's helpful that Batman's a really dark movie, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not, it's not bright daytime. It's not a lot of bright lights. It was easy to blur. Oh, Kevin will be 51. So happy 51st birthday, Kevin. Superfan Lance Chafin knew that it was Batman. Let's see. Emily's saying she couldn't hear it. I'm sorry about that, Emily. Hopefully the other ones will be a little louder for us. Lance Chafin, yep, Batman 1989, Mr. 79. Man says Batman. Oh, Stephen Say's in the house. Welcome, Stephen. Red 13's here. McGanahan Sky Jellyfetty says he never wins at these things. Well, hopefully, you know what? This might be the one. These are big hits from the 80s. If you can recognize the audio clips, you can be 5 of 5 and win tonight. McGanahan Sky Jellyfetty, if that really is your name. More bad news for you.
Yeah, that's his real name. His mom, little Jellyfetty.
He looks just like a McGanahan Sky Jellyfetty. That's the name. Yeah. Let's see. James Mitchell says every day is a gift. That's why they call it the present. I love that. I love that. From Superfan James Mitchell. Let's see. We are getting close. I think we can do. This might be the last one. Little Jimmy Walker.
You're dynamite! Dynamite!
Well, that is a dynamite saying, James. Thanks for sharing it, and thank you for the support. I got nothing left, Pat. I got nothing
so far,
left.
so good. No, we're so far, so good. Yeah.
You just might as well get it over with. Then you can play through them all again.
No, please.
All right. Thank you for your support, James. Truly appreciate it. Let's do one more video clip. So we got Batman 1989. I thought that would be an easy one for a lot of folks. They're not all that easy. That was at the tail end of the 80s, right? The tail end of the 80s, 1989. Tim Burton directed movie. Prior to that, everybody thought of Batman as Adam West. They didn't really. There was actually a huge uproar when Batman came out. A lot of folks felt like it was too dark. And nowadays I think it seems really tame. Quite
the
frankly.
second one, the Batman Returns. That actually got even worse, and the McDonald or whoever it was,
McDonald's,
was it? Yeah, pulled the toys and
They
everything.
did.
It was crazy because yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Truthfully, I can see that one. I love Batman Returns. It's more of a Tim Burton movie than a Batman movie.
Yeah,
but
more of a Catwoman movie.
Yeah, lots of Catwoman in it, and Danny DeVito's Penguin is just gross as all get out. Yeah, I can see them not, maybe McDonald's rethinking marketing that movie to kids under 12.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't it's still quite tame in today's, based on a lot of movies that come out today. But yeah, I can see that. So let's go with one more movie, and then we'll talk a little bit of television here. I'm going to go with, I think you'll be able to hear this one better. I've got a really tough one. This one isn't as tough, I don't think, but we'll see how you do.
Get him out. Hey, leave him alone, man. He's had enough. Shut up, Johnny. Leave him alone, man. He's had enough. On the side when he's had enough, man. The enemy deserves no mercy.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. You know what I didn't do? I didn't play I have these unblurred. So hang on one second.
Excuse me. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
There we go. So we'll show the unblurred version of that clip in just a minute. But before we do that, let us go ahead and let's see what folks are saying in the comments section real quick. I'm seeing some answers. Here's one: The Outsiders.
Close.
I'm seeing Kevin Davis says The Outsiders could be. Hungry Jerk Tom says My Bodyguard. Anyone remember that movie with Chris McPace and Matt Dillon? Great movie.
It was good.
Let's see. We've got Superfan Lance Chavin says Karate Kid 1984, and Superfan Lisa Fields, welcome. Good to have you here. Says Karate Kid. Custom God says it's not The Outsiders. And Custom God says that one was hard to hear as well. I'm going to definitely have to adjust volume going forward if we play this again. Lord of the Flies was another guess. Cindy Pruitt says she doesn't have a clue. And Skip Rock Jr. says stay gold, S.E. Hinton. For the longest time, I thought S.E. Hinton was a guy. I don't know if you guys read those books in junior high or anything. I read That Was Then, This Is Now, The Outsiders.
Yeah,
and
great
S.E.
book.
Hinton is a woman, a young adult author who's a woman. But she used her initials so that folks didn't, marginalize her ability as an author by judging her based on gender, which was probably a smart move at the time. All right. We let Justin guess the first one. He was one of one. Ian, do you want to guess this one?
Oh, yeah. Karate Kid, man.
Okay.
Karate Kid.
Karate Kid?
Yeah.
Get him out. Hey, leave him alone, man. He's had enough. Shut up, Johnny. Leave him alone, man. He's had enough. On the side when he's had enough, man. The enemy deserves no mercy.
Is it wrong of me to say that I really like William Zabka and his character Johnny? Even in, I love Cobra Kai. Mm-hmm. It's a great, great TV show. But even back then, I always kind of felt a little bit bad for Johnny. I did kind of feel like, Daniel could be a little bit of a turd from time to time in those movies. Not that he deserved everything he got, but I can see where I would really rub Johnny the wrong way.
Yeah, I agree.
Machio is such a great actor. He can really do any role. And not long after that, I just want to put it out there, he was in a film called Crossroads. I don't know if any of you guys ever... Wasn't that a fantastic movie? If you're a musician, even more so, because it was true to form. Steve Vai is in it, and he plays the devil's guitar player. And it's just, Ralph Macchio does an amazing job in that film. So, highly recommend it.
I'm sorry. The only problem with that movie is the idea that Macchio, I don't care how good of an actor he is, could outplay Steve Vai. It just not happening.
Yes, it was the style that beat him.
Yeah,
not the playing. It was the
not
style.
The execution.
He went into a classical piece. which was what he had his major in, if you recall in the film. He pulled out of his trick.
Right. Wasn't he playing like at the first, like a classical guitar,
Yeah,
if I remember correctly?
he was at Juilliard. He was at Juilliard, but he was studying the blues, and that's where he wanted to follow the Robert Johnson myth of him selling his soul to the devil. It's great. A great movie, stands up today. Highly recommend it. Yeah.
Well, that was loosely based on a previous rumor, right? About a guy who.
The story is the story of Crossroads, which is I went down to the crossroads, fell down on my knees.
Yeah.
And it was basically that Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil to be able to play better than anyone else.
Right.
And they went down, found out there was truth to that story. So anyway, very well made.
Yeah. Great movie, great cast. I loved Jamie Gertz is in that as well, if I remember correctly, right? Jamie Gertz.
Exactly.
Big fan of Jamie Gertz and her work throughout the years, but especially in the 80s, it seemed like she was all over the place in the movie theaters. I saw some great comments, and they all skipped by super quick here, but let me see if I can scroll back up. And you know what? Oh, here we go. Terrell Bellinger says, fun fact, William Zabka's real-life dad worked as a crew member on the set of the old NBC soap opera, The Doctors. Nice. Super fan Lisa Field said, my friend met Ralph Macchio, and he wasn't very nice. That's sad. You know what, though? I will say this. We're all human beings, and there's going to be these moments where someone's tired, they've had a bad day, maybe they had a prior interaction with someone else that really kind of left a sour taste. There's just so many things that could happen that, even if it's at a Comic-Con, and you know what, I get it. At a Comic-Con, they're kind of supposed to be nice because you're probably paying to visit with them. But nevertheless, sometimes we just have to recognize that we all have moments where we're not in top form. And so
I gotta say, I witnessed it firsthand. Actually, at one point I was signing autographs, but the big stars were next to me. I wasn't the one they were really going for. And it is one of the most taxing things a human being can do. Having to meet hundreds of people and be up and show them the courtesy that they all deserve. And fortunately, the guy that I was with was really good at it. So he inspired me. By the time we were done with that, I swear I was never been so emotionally exhausted in my life. Never mind physically. It just drains you. So there could have been that. You know, I'd like to think that was it.
I would too.
Hurt, you know.
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot of stories about Ralph Macchio being a jerk, so it may just have been one of those moments. But you never know. Let's see. Oh, Steve Tivis says a like button, please. Yeah, folks, if you haven't thought about, or if you haven't clicked on that like button yet, I truly would appreciate it. Let me, as a matter of fact, bring the Fonz on to talk about that.
Hey folks, if you're enjoying this live stream, be like the Fonz and give it a thumbs up. Hey.
There we go. Give it a thumbs up. So let's keep moving here. I did want to talk about TV for a second. So, you know what? 1987 brought us a television show that is extremely polarizing. There are a number of folks out there. We've got 68 people on the live stream with us right now. And I dare say that probably a good 50% of these people, our friends, our community members, are going to say this show was crap. But I would love to get your opinions on it, fellers. But before I do, let me quickly share a little preview of what I'm talking about, and then we'll go from there.
Introducing the Bundys of Chicago, a family like you've never seen.
Mom, Dad, you're grounded.
Al Bundy, a real man's man.
Now I'm going to watch the news. And when it's over, I want some form of dead animal on my plate.
His lovely wife, Peggy.
Don't mind Al. It's just his time of the month.
Their two wonderful children.
You're disgusting. And you're failing 5 classes.
And their newlywed neighbors.
I love you, Marcy.
I love you, Steve.
I hate them, Peg.
They hate you, Al.
They're not the Cosbys. They're the Bundys. And they're married with children.
Okay, Married with Children. Justin, yay or nay on Married with Children?
I guess I'm kind of in the middle. I'll have to say yay, though. I mean, I liked it. I was more of a casual fan. But, I mean, it was probably one of the earliest raunchy comedies, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There was nothing really like that in the 80s, and then that came along. It was like, wow. And it was on Fox, so.
I think it was one of Fox's very first shows,
Yeah.
and I think it was a statement by Fox. As a matter of fact, when
For sure.
Fox was those first few years when Fox was on TV, I kind of just assumed all of their shows were going to be kind of like that, and then they weren't. Right? There was a lot of great programming, all types of different shows. One of my all-time favorite shows came out of Fox, a little parody again of Leave It to Beaver called Get a Life. But Married with Children was its own beast. It was something we hadn't really seen prior to that. Pat, thoughts about Married with Children?
Yeah, I think All in the Family blazed the trail for it. Frankly, they were pretty raunchy, and that was the 70s. So then you got Married with Children and this new network that seems to be a little able to turn the other way in some of their content, which just left it wide open for Ed O'Neill to just take the Archie Bunker type of character and just take it to 10. These clear differences, but I always saw All in the Family, which I loved, which meant in turn I loved Married with Children. And again, I just became a big fan of him and Katie Segal, who was just she was phenomenal. And yeah, the whole cast just killed it. So yeah, I loved it.
I would agree. Yeah, Ian, go ahead.
Yeah, I loved the show for many reasons. Not one of which was in one of my jobs. I was a younger kid then. One of the jobs that I had, my nickname was Bud. You can see the resemblance a little bit, but you could really see the resemblance when I was younger. People would often call me Bud for at least at one job. My nickname was Bud. It took a turn there, and I love the show, but the turn that it distinctly took was picking back up from the 70s, from All in the Family, what you were saying, because in the 80s, what we had was a slew of families trying to really get along and really be nice to each other and really love each other and all that, all the wholesome stuff, the Cosbys, Family Ties, Growing Pains, all that stuff. The thing that they had in common, it was just, they were basically nice to each other. Maybe kind of an exception to that was Alex P. Keaton. He was a little bit jokey, rude, but these people were actually kind of rude to each other. And that kind of turned a corner there, or at least picked back up on an old theme that was part of the Archie Bunker trope, going on. But that was, really unheard of for other than the Archie Bunker thing that had kind of gone underground. And basically you had this idea of this nice family where everyone's nice to each other and they're all complimenting each other. And you have these kind of mundane problems, and then boom, here you get this problem, like the guy doesn't even want to have sex with his wife. He says things like, she's like, rub my feet, and he says, I wouldn't even rub your feet if a genie came out of him. Yeah. And it was just a crazy show, and I thought it was hilarious. And I'm not saying whether or not I should like it or not. That's a different story, but I did like it. So
Yeah, it's interesting. Married with Children for me is, I have a lot of fond memories of it. One, because it was different. I was working I'm doing an overnight shift at Kmart, trying to finish my college degree when it first came on. And I would work for about an hour. They'd close at Kmart. What they do is, if you were working the overnight shift, the manager would would basically close the store, and this was Sundays is when it originally debuted. It was on Sunday nights, at least my memory is it was on Sunday nights. He would lock me in for the night, so it would be me and a janitor. I'd be stocking shelves, and I'd work for all of an hour, and then I'd go back to the appliance section in Kmart, and there was like 20 these big old TVs from the olden days. All of them I could turn on, and I could turn to Married with Children. And I would watch Married with Children on, 20 TVs, varying sizes, and loved it. Loved that it wasn't the Cosby Show. And for that reason, besides the fact that I think it had a really talented cast, you mentioned Ed O'Neill, Pat. I mean, that guy, what a funny human being. I don't think there's ever anything I've ever seen Ed O'Neill on that he wasn't instantly likable. Right. I mean, and he wasn't instantly funny. He was just a great actor. And the same holds true for the rest of the cast.
He was very intuitive too. I mean, he was the guy that knew that Modern Family was going to work. And the rest of them were all like, is this going to work? Is this going to work? And he was like, this is gold.
Yeah.
Well, and then all he had to do was play Al Bundy again.
I heard too that he brought some of his own personality to the character that everybody else was actually trying too hard to imitate. The previously mentioned person, that guy that you just said, and or they said that people try to play him try to imitate. Oh gosh, why can't I remember the name? It's just forgetting me right now. I'm here, Johnny. Hey, that guy, Jack Nicholson. And Ed O'Neill came in and played it different and won it as a result of that. Kramer auditioned for it too. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and I was in love with Kelly Bundy, by the way. I was in love with Kelly Bundy.
Yeah, Danny Staten made a comment about that earlier. I flashed it on the screen for a moment. I think we all had a little bit of a crush on Christina Applegate, definitely. But going back to your original comment where you led with this, Ian, is that, he did. I think Ed O'Neill is so good because he brings Ed O'Neill into all of his characters. There is a lot of similarities between, for example, his character on Married with Children and his character in Modern Family, although they're different socioeconomic, areas. They fall into different levels there, but they still feel like they could be the same guy.
And he's a black belt too in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under the Gracies.
Did not know that.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude, man.
So here's the deal. I asked the community a few days ago. I said, okay, of all of Marcy's, there were only two of Marcy's husbands. Of all of Marcy's husbands.
All that we know of.
Yeah, that's right. Of all of Marcy's husbands, Steve or Jefferson, who was your favorite? I quickly, just going around, starting with Justin. Where do you land?
Oh, probably the first one, probably Steve.
Steve.
I just saw him in a couple different shows too. It's Your
Move. Yeah.
And he was funny in that too. I just like the originals, I guess.
Yeah, It's Your Move was made by the same folks that did Married with Children prior to Married with Children, and had Jason Bateman in it as well. Really, really great cast. Pat, Steve, or Jefferson?
Oh, Jefferson. He was from, if I'm picturing the right guy, he was also on Happy Days towards the end there. And anybody that can make fun of themselves for being overly good looking, to me, has really got talent.
Yeah,
can become a comedic yet sympathetic character when they look like a super movie star. It's like, that's my guy. So I like Jefferson.
Yeah, Ted McGinn.
Especially in a hetero kind of way. I like him very much.
Sure. I'm fond of him in the same exact hetero way. So that's how I would vote. Ian, how would you go?
That's a tough one. That's really tough. I really like both of them. I would probably lean slightly more towards Jefferson. I think there were more laughs with him, and I think that the Steve character and Al were a little too similar, And then when you got the Jefferson character there, it kind of set that family across the way apart from the Bundys in kind of a unique way. And they were able to play off of each other a little bit more rather than kind of like a similar buddy kind of thing. And I thought that just created more laughs personally for me.
Totally agree. I get what you're saying. I liked them both. As a matter of fact, Mr. 79 Man, welcome, if I didn't welcome you earlier, is being the diplomat and he's saying, Steve and Jefferson, come on, guys, why do we have to pick? But that was, the game was picking. We had to pick one. Yeah, that was the question. So let me show you what the results were. Let's see here if I can pull those up real quick. There we go. We had 1,800 votes, not bad for a little poll on the community. And boy, oh boy, at first it looked like a runaway with Steve just ahead by 40 percentage points or something at one point early on. But Jefferson did make a run. And at the end, it still was, I think it's a decisive victory for Marcy's first husband, Steve. Was it Steve Rhodes?
I think.
I'm trying to remember what his last name was.
I think so.
I know it was Jefferson Darcy because then her name became Marcy Darcy.
Marcy Darcy. That's right.
When I voted that poll, it was still 52-48 too.
Oh, it was closer at the time.
When I voted, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so Steve really took over. Well, there you go. So a talented actor. I'm drawing a blank on his name. It's David something or other, if I remember right. But I'll have to look that up afterwards. I did enjoy him in It's Your Move. That was a fun show, and I was sad to see that one. I think it only ran a single season, Justin.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so let's do this real quick. Oh, so and Emily Miller, super fan Emily Miller. She wasn't the only one. John H. mentioned it as well. Mentioned that our friend Mr. McGinley, he was also on the Love Boat, Pat. Also on the Love Boat. He kind of was one of those guys that it seemed like he would join a show towards the tail end of a show. Right. There was Happy Days, the Love Boat, or, I mean, Married with Children was longer than that, but even that was at the end.
Was it Baywatch? Did he end up on Baywatch for a while?
I don't think he was on Baywatch.
No.
He was in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes, he was one of the bullies. He was one of the bullies in Revenge of the Nerds. Are you thinking of Parker Stevenson on the first season of Baywatch?
No, I know my Hardy Boys.
Okay.
I just kind of, it was like you said, he's kind of a ghost. He shows up and it wouldn't have surprised me if he was there for, the tail end and they did that. They brought in a lot of different actors just based on their beauty. So anyway.
Yeah, Zuperplex says, how can they say Ted McGinley killed a show if he played the role on a number of years, which he was on Happy Days for 4 or so seasons. Love Boat, that was I think that was maybe 2 or 3 seasons, but Married with Children, it was probably 5-ish seasons or so.
Yeah.
David Garriott was Terrell. Thank you. David Garrison played Steve Rhodes, and left after season 4. So all of the remaining seasons, Jefferson was the character, and he was a good buddy to Al too. That's what I loved about him. Not only was he was one of those guys that was attentive to Marcy, around Marcy, but the minute Marcy left, he was a guy's guy and always never get in whatever kind of trouble that Al wanted to get into. Loved it.
Yeah.
Superfan Emily Miller says that Jefferson or that Ted is still pretty, which he's a handsome feller. Handsome feller. All right. Thank you for the conversation. Anybody want to say anything else about Married with Children before we put a bow on this one?
I have one memory of an episode.
I'd love to hear it.
The funniest 2 minutes I think I ever saw on that show personally was when Bud had a date with the mannequin, and he tried to get it up the stairs, and it was just all slapstick, like John Ritter, and the head fell off. I think I was laughing so hard at that episode I couldn't. I just remember that, and then King Kong Bundy was on there a couple times too.
That's a nod to the show. That's what the show is. That's what their last name was named after.
Right.
Was King Kong Bundy.
I just remember him showing up on there.
Yeah, some people think that it was something to do with Ted Bundy, but it wasn't. It was a nod to King Kong Bundy, the wrestler.
Yep.
Well, and Katie Segal, everything she did after, I love. Sons of Anarchy was just phenomenal. Her performance specifically. And you realize then just how beautiful she really was. Whereas in Married with Children, they had her made up to be not quite as as appealing. Man, but the fact is, she was beautiful. So anyway, what I wanted to say.
Yeah, give Katie Segal props. As I was watching that clip and putting that clip together and formatting it for the live stream, even though they tried their best to make Katie look like a peg, right? To make Katie, she's a beautiful actress, and the thing that's interesting is that she really doesn't seem to have aged. My wife was watching Rebel on ABC this past season, and she's, for as long as she's been in the industry, and I'm sure they can work wonders. You have enough money, but she's still a very beautiful lady. Terrell Bellinger says that Ted McGinley also ruined Dynasty. Yeah, he was on Dynasty. Again, I'm not gonna throw the blame on Ted, but you are correct, Terrell. And Cindy Pruitt is impressed with your Hardy Boys reference there, Pat.
Thank you.
And Mr. 79 Man says that there were, yes, and I remember one of them. I don't know if I remember two of them, but there were 2 episodes with both Steve and Jefferson in it where Steve comes back, and those are fun episodes too. All right. Let's go to clip number 3 here real quick. Let's see. So, Justin, you 2 of 2 so far?
Yep. So far.
1 of 2.
1 of 2?
Yeah.
So that one, you missed the first one. Okay, Ian?
2 of 2.
All right. We'll look at everybody's scores here after this one. So let's do one more. I'm going to do the hard one.
Yeah, do the hardest one.
This is the hardest one.
Come back to me.
I'm going to play it one more time.
Yeah, please.
Didn't mean to do that again. Okay, so there it is. I'm going to give you some hints to help out of here a little bit because, first off, I'm going to look to see if folks are getting it. It was early 80s.
Yeah.
Perhaps even 1980. It was one of my favorite movies of the decade. But I don't think it was a major box office hit, although it's had a lasting legacy. Some of the guesses that we're getting are...
I can't believe I know this one. I don't even like the movie.
You don't even like the movie?
No, but I know. My wife basically put my arm in a lock and made me watch that show with her. Otherwise, she was going to divorce me. No, I'm just kidding.
You need to watch my 5 reasons why this movie is awesome video, Ian.
I think I probably did.
You probably have.
Yeah, I probably have.
I love the music in this movie, which is another hint. The music by, I want to say it's John Barry.
Mm-hmm.
It's adapted music. Is just phenomenal. And the acting is... just the cast is great. So, Justin, do you have a guess?
No, I think Lisa Fields in the chat said Tom Cruise. I thought it was his face too, like his nose. But I don't have a guess. No.
Okay.
All right.
Pat, any guess?
No, based off what Justin just said, I'll go with Risky Business.
Risky Business. That was Rebecca Romine as an older lady saying, come back to Ian. You want to give us the answer?
Yeah, it's Somewhere in Time. It's
Yes.
I think anyway. I think it's
Christopher Reeve,
Yeah.
Jane Seymour. That's the opening scene in the movie.
How could I have
Based on
that?
the classic Richard Matheson
Richard
novel,
Matheson.
Bid Time Return, where she puts that watch in his hand and says, "Come back to me."
Right.
I should have got that.
Love that movie.
Yeah.
All right, here
Richard Matheson.
let's watch the unblurified version.
Come back to me.
Bravo, Christopher Reeve. Incredible performance in that movie. The moment, spoiler alert, where he pulls that penny out of his pocket is just, for me, gut-wrenching and painful. Yes. Lots of folks got it. I'd love to see scores so far. People, tell me how you're doing. Superplex was 0 of 2. Perhaps that was before the last one. John H. is 0 of, or hasn't got any of them yet. Let's see. Do we have any scores? Mike D says Richard Matheson is a writing idol of mine, as I love everything Richard Matheson ever has done, including his Twilight Zone episodes are some of the very, very best. The original Gamester, welcome to the live streams. 3 of 3. Mr. 79 Man's 1 of 2. Georgia Ayers is 2 of 3. Karen Lester's 1 of 3. We got a lot. Terrell Bellinger's 3 of 3. Aaron Wilson is 2 and 1, so 2 of 3. Mike D's 2 of 3. Came in a bit late, but good to have you here nonetheless. David Thomas is 1 of 3. Kevin Davis 2 of 3. Lamont Bradford 3 of 3. Elf Dog 100 1 of 3. Dolph Quick 2 of 3 just came in. The Richard got the first one though. Good job. Larry Potter's 3 of 3. Tracy Rothmeyer's. Well, that's okay. That's okay.
Me either, Tracy. You're doing fine.
Just being here is the important thing. And I have a feeling you're going to get the next one. I just have this feeling that you're going to get it. Danny Staten says, all I got that one first in the chat. Okay. Emily Miller, 2 of 3, but only because Lance gave me the first one since I couldn't hear it. Well, that's what friends are for. You phoned a friend, superfan Emily Miller. Superfan Lisa Fields is 0 of 3. Still, we appreciate you playing. Thank you so much for being here for the live stream. Cindy D's 1 of 3. McGanahan Sky Jelly Fetty's 1 of 3. Cindy Pruitt's 1 of 3, and I think that takes us to the score. 75 people in the live stream. Wait, we've got some more here now. Larry Potter's 3 of 3. Dolph Quick's 2 of 3. Elf Dog 100 is 1 of 3. I think that's about it. Oh, Tom's 0 so far. Mike D's 2 of 3. Okay, so let's see how we're doing. I think I'm doing some repeats. So let's keep moving. The Richard, by the way, says he's very happy to see me live in the chat, or us live in the chat, and we're very happy to have you here. So thanks for joining us. I think it might be the first time I've actually seen you on a live stream, so great to have you with us this evening. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and just for about a minute and a half worth of vintage commercials, and then we'll be right back. And Pat, I just saw a super chat, so you're in trouble. Lawrence Welk, it's in the not too distant future, so prepare yourself. I just want you to kind of still yourself for the fact that Lawrence is coming, and it's going to be a double shot, my friend, a double shot of Welk. All right, get ready. All right, see y'all in a minute and a half.
What's in this little blue egg that keeps Barbara Eden looking slim and trim?
Ooh, there's only one answer to that. It's Legs Control Top Pantyhose. See, Legs slims and trims but doesn't bind, so you get comfort and control.
Stretching, bending, standing, setting, just one pantyhose that's always fitting. Nothing beats a great pair of legs.
Kodak introduces the extraordinary Kodomatic Trim Print Instant Color Film. Unlike the ordinary instant print, the extraordinary trim print lets you lift off the image to capture the color just the way you like it. And now look how slim I am. I slip easily into places the ordinary bulky instant doesn't fit. So you can keep me in style here in your album with your regular pictures. You can trim me. Watch it. And I'm so thin you can put me where you couldn't put an ordinary instant picture. You can show me off. You can do all kinds of things with me that you can't do with an ordinary instant picture. Here I am, with the new Kodamatic Trim Print Instant Color Film.
Anyone can do extraordinary things. But he didn't tell you trim print is only for Kodamatic instant cameras.
You didn't tell him it's only from Kodak.
What?
You didn't tell him it was only from Kodak.
Extraordinary.
Thank you. Trim Print, the extraordinary new instant color film from Kodak.
Read about tennis tots, political posters, and the miniseries Shogun, all in the new issue of TV Guide magazine.
Okay. A couple of thoughts real quick. The first one being, what's going on, Pat?
Nothing.
We're getting
I'm
a lot
just
of echoing.
Yeah, echoing.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Are you
What I
sure?
do to my sound now? I haven't
don't
touched
know.
a thing.
Maybe it might be Ian's. Did your microphone go lower or something near your speaker?
No, it's headphones and this, so you're not in the speaker. Oh, well, I'm hearing myself echo too. I'm hearing you echo, and I'm hearing me echo. So
Okay,
is it?
I'm hearing a little bit.
Let's see if we can figure it out. Okay, now can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you're not echoing anymore. I think Pat is the.
It was.
right.
Pat has been our scallywag of the evening.
He's anticipating the Lawrence Welk commercial.
I know. I'm doing everything I can to evade that.
Causing all sorts of shenanigans, knowing that Lawrence Welk is coming.
Has it got?
What was that, Pat?
Has it gotten better?
No, we still getting an echo now for some reason.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
You're not echoing.
Yeah, we've got an
That is
echo.
weird.
I'm going to throw you on mute for a minute, Pat.
Let me see. Yeah, do that. Let me see. Let me try something new. No, I
Okay.
can't do that either. Dang.
Okay, I'm going to throw you on mute for a minute while you play with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of thoughts real quick. One being that Barbara Eden, 90 years old. She had her birthday just a couple of weeks ago. 90 years old. And I don't know if any of you have seen Barbara lately, but we talked earlier on about Ed Asner and how he was, still active and engaged. Not only is Barbara still active and engaged in the community and attending fan events and doing all sorts of things, but she doesn't look a day over 70 either.
Yeah. She looks good, actually.
Yep. Stays healthy. I know she has quite the diet. She's just a very, very health conscious person. The other one is that David Copperfield commercial. Those cameras got. I remember again. I was working at Kmart when I don't know if it was a Supreme Court ruling. I don't think it was. It was another court ruling, but Polaroid sued Kodak for copyright infringement and ran those Kodak instant cameras out right off the shelves.
Really?
So they were around. Yeah, they were around for 3 or 4 years while everything settled itself in the courts. But when all was said and done, all those people that bought those Kodak Instamatic instant cameras, once their film ran out, they were done. They were done. All right, we're going to see if Pat, I think you're sounding better now.
Am I sounding better?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you're a little low, but there's no echo, so that's a good thing.
And I'll just talk louder now.
There you go. Yes. I'm glad we got you settled in before we move forward, because there's work to be done here. I need to scroll up though. Before we went to our commercial breaks, Larry Potter says, "I'm giving you this for playing my favorite Superman actor. And Pat, remember, with 3, you get egg roll." So here's what you get, Larry. With this super chat, you get a double dose of the Welk. Here we go. Pat, still yourself. Still yourself.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me. Thank you very, very, very much.
There we go. Yes. You can't beat that. You need to embrace the man, the myth, the legend that is Lawrence Welk.
Much better now. Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Larry, thank you very much. Appreciate your support. And
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah, thank you, Larry.
My favorite Superman actor as well, always will be. And I'm a big fan of a number of different Superman actors, including George Reeves, Brandon Routh. I enjoy his work as his one appearance as Superman in the movies, and then he reprised the role on TV a couple of years ago on the big CW crossover event, Crisis on Infinite Earths. He got to play Superman one last time.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then there's Henry Cavill, who I think is Cavill, I think maybe is how you say it. I think he's done a great job. Not always had the best scripts to work with, but has done a great job.
I thought that Superman film, that new one with Henry Cavill, was very, very good. I liked it. I actually liked it quite a bit. But I do have to say that original not the original, but the Christopher Reeves in the movie Superman, that was my favorite one. But hey, do you remember the Kodak little boxes that used to be on the corner of streets and stuff? You used to go and drop off your film, and then you pick them up later.
Kodak, but they had some, but the ones I remember, at least we had one in Bountiful, and it was a Photomat.
Okay.
The name of it. Yeah, and I remember it. I do remember it.
I was going to open one up. Do you think it'll do well? I was going to buy into one. I've got a friend who's got a bunch of them.
As long as you stop
Film's coming back. Film's coming back. It is just like Lawrence Welk.
Our fifth year wedding anniversary went on a cruise, and we didn't go with any friends. And what we discovered on a cruise, when you don't have any friends, is you get paired at tables with other couples that don't have any friends on the cruise with them either. And one of the couples we got to meet was a guy who was an executive at Kodak. And I remember it was just at the dawn of digital cameras, and I quizzed him about that. Are you worried at all? Oh, no, print film will never go away. I've lost track of the feller, but I would love to have dinner with him one more time and get his thoughts, because I'm sure he was there through the entire run and watched everything that Kodak went through, and they tried to adapt, but ultimately, the times were changing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
All right, we have another super chat. This one's from Mike D. Don't worry, Pat, I'm not going to do it to you again. He says, I'll give you this for Barbara and the legs. Yeah, just happy birthday, belatedly, to Barbara Eden, 90 years old and going strong.
Yeah.
And Mike D, thank you so much for the support. We're in rerun season now, but I love the Steve Martin clip. We'll do that one again.
And now, it's time for a little dance, and here we go.
Thank you so much, Mike D. Good stuff. All right. So Mr. 79 Man, speaking about photomats, I believe, in the little Kodak shops that were there, he says they were in the mall parking lots. Yep, they sure were. And there were Kodak stores. I remember Kodak shops you could go into where you could drop off your film. Michael Landon did a lot of commercials for Kodak in the late 70s, early 80s, talking, and they really stressed that only get your photos done on genuine Kodak paper. That was a big deal for them back then.
Yeah. Make sure they're not nudes, because of course they won't look at them.
Well, that's another benefit of the digital camera era. Right?
Exactly.
That's a benefit.
All right. Blurovision 3000 movie clip number 4. Here we go. This one is for Tracy Rothmeyers. This is the one that I think super fan Tracy Rothmeyers is going to get. Let me go ahead and find it. I hope it's loud enough for you to hear.
Yep. I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Life moves pretty fast, fellers. Mid-'80s, I want to say 1985, a movie that broke the fourth wall throughout the entire film just marvelously. Probably cemented the career of the director that was helming the movie. And let's see what we got here. I'm going to see if I can see a guess from Tracy Rothmeyers. I'm waiting. Tracy, I'm waiting. I'm not going to. Oh, look at this.
There she is.
Boom.
There. You got it.
Bueller. Nicely done. Super fan Tracy Rothmeyers. Lots of folks got it. Our friend Steve got it. Danny got it. Terrell got it. McGanahan, Sky Jellyfin. Fetty said he got it. I didn't see an answer, or maybe it was earlier on. Thrash Pondo Ponds. We need to get him on the live stream one of these days. Got it. Tom got it. John H. got it. John Stammer got it. Oh, yes. George's Ayers knew this one. Yes, that was indeed an easy one. Let's watch the clip without the blur.
Yep. I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Yeah. Words of wisdom from Mr. Matthew Broderick. I don't know. War Games had come out, right? That had come out before Ferris Bueller's, I think.
I think so.
With Ali Sheedy. Yeah. And then after that, another movie of mine that I really loved that he was in, it was Lady Hawk. You guys remember Lady Hawk?
That was great. Did you ever see Out on a Limb with him? I think it was 90s. I think that was a 91 or 1990.
I don't recall a movie called Out on a Limb with him.
It's pretty funny. It's a pretty funny show. It's a little slapsticky, but it's a funny show. It's one of those comedy of errors where everything kind of goes wrong, and then you try to do something right and that goes wrong. You try to fix your problem, and it's a really good show. Highly recommend.
It sounds like my life, actually. Yeah. A little too familiar.
Oh no.
Let's see. We got a couple of the original Gamester said War Games was 83, so that works. Biloxi Blues is another movie I do remember him in. Oh, this was a fun one with Matthew Broderick. Family Business.
I haven't seen Biloxi Blues or Family. I don't even know of Family Business, but I
Connery and Hoffman, right? Am I thinking, is that the two actors that were in that one? And the freshman was with Martin, not Martin.
Yeah, I got an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah, but it's not Martin. It's
I know.
The guy that was in Superman. He was Superman's dad.
Marlon Brando.
Marlon, not Martin. Marlon Brando. Yes, thank you, Pat. Tom says he loved Biloxi Blues, and Doc Savage says Lady Hawk was underrated. Let's see. Charlie Sheen did show up at the end of Ferris. Let's see. Any other things? Alan Ruck was 30 when Ferris Bueller came out. That's incredible. I would never have guessed that he was 30 at the time of, probably a year or two younger than when the movie was being filmed. So probably 27, 28, but holy cow. Holy cow. And Danny says, you ever had to sit through Inspector Godzilla or that awful Godzilla movie? Inspector Gadget or that awful Godzilla movie?
No.
Yes, I've sat through both of them, Danny Staten.
I did the Godzilla movie, but I didn't do the Inspector Gadget. I could barely stand the cartoon personally, so.
I wasn't expecting a lot, so I was okay with it. I didn't mind it. It was an hour and a half of my life I wasn't getting back, but I'd kind of come to grips with that. What about you guys?
I recommend something a little later from him. He played a frustrated school teacher in Election, which was excellent.
Yeah.
That whole movie was really good.
What was the gal that's the young lady that's the
Reese Witherspoon?
I think Reese Witherspoon.
That was her best movie, I think.
Yeah, that got a lot of critical acclaim. I have to admit, I've never seen that movie. I would like to, and I should.
Dark
Make time for
humor.
that one.
Dark humor.
Doc Savage says Godzilla 98 was pretty bad. That was by the guys that did Independence Day. My expectations weren't that high, but I didn't mind it all that much.
I really actually enjoyed the soundtrack on that one.
Yeah,
believe it or not, it was a little bit more rappy, but it was kind of like that. It was good. I actually enjoyed the soundtrack to that Godzilla movie.
Aaron Wilson says he doesn't do Godzilla. Kevin Davis says that Godzilla movie was horrible. And Larry Potter says, do you remember Tron? Came out in 84 or 85. Of course I remember Tron. I loved Tron. Great movie. Probably not in my top 10, but still an enjoyable movie with Jeff Bridges, one of my favorite actors.
One of the first movies you could rent, if I recall.
Yeah.
One of the first video cassettes that you could actually go to the camera store and rent was Tron.
Awesome. Back then, Pat, I had to also rent out the VCR to play the video.
Exactly. Exactly.
You had to give them like your credit card information, and basically it felt like you had to like hand over a lien to your house to get the equipment to take it all home, and then took a half hour to set it all up, and it was kind of an ordeal at first.
Yeah, sure was.
Yeah, those were the days. All right, one last clip here. Let's go. Let's do our final clip, and then we'll get final scores. I think most folks will get this one.
Don't move. It won't hurt you. What happened? Are you okay?
He slimed me.
One more time.
It won't hurt you. What happened? Are you okay?
He slimed me.
Final line there is he slimed me. Hopefully that's enough of a hint for most folks. Let's see what we have in the comments. Oh, Aaron Wilson says, my dad had a TV and appliance store, had the very first VCR in my town. You, Aaron Wilson,
were popular.
Are a heck of a lucky fella. That's all I can say. My old man, who I love dearly, but my old man was anti-VCR. He didn't think we needed one and wasn't going to spend that kind of money on a VCR, particularly when he was the first to tell you that most movies that were being made in the 80s were crap. So, but you're a lucky person, Aaron. Terrell says it was Ghostbusters, as does Superplex, and so does Superfan Lisa Fields. And did I say Superfan Superplex? I should have. Superfan Superplex. Let's see. Larry Potter said Ghostbusters. Doc Savage said Ghostbusters. Kevin Davis said Ghostbusters, and then he says the real one. Now, were they really the real Ghostbusters?
They weren't the original.
Good one. Good one.
I think that actually, although the cartoon said that they were the real Ghostbusters, I truly believe the honor goes to Larry Storch and Forrest Tucker and an ape named
guy
Tracy.
in an ape. A guy in an ape suit. Yes.
Yes. Spencer, Tracy, and Kong. And I always thought it was funny that Kong wasn't the guy in the ape suit. But yeah, that aired a few years before Ghostbusters, and there was actually a huge legal mess that came around with that because they used the title Ghostbusters, and there'd already been a children's show on CBS airing in the mid-'70s with that title. All right, let's see final scores, folks. Tell me what your final scores are, and we'll flash them on the screen at least as much as we can. I'm looking for scores. Justin, already in the chat. Nicely done, my friend. 4 of 5. Congratulations.
Yeah, I missed that somewhere in time.
That was a tough one. That was a tough one. Kevin Davis was 4 of 5 as well. John H. was 2 of 3. The original Gamester was 5 of 5. Mike D, 4 of 5. Not bad at all. Not bad at all, my friend. Georgia Ayers. Oh, what happened there? Georgia Ayers, 4 of 5. McGanahan Sky Jellyfetty says, is Larry Storch still alive? He is indeed. He is still with us. Superplex was 2 of 4. Elf Dog 100, 3 of 5. Karen Lester, 3 of 5. Mr. 79 Man, 2 of 3. John H was 2.5. So half of them. John H, 2 of 5. Okay, there we go. That makes more sense. Lamont Bradford was 2 of 5. Tom was 2 of 5. Cindy Pruitt was 3 of 5. Terrell Bellinger, congrats on a perfect evening with video clips. John Stammer, 2 of 5. Cindy D, 2 for 5. Larry got percent out of percent. Danny Staten got them all. Mr. Led was 2 of 5. McGanahan was 3 of 5. Dolph was 4 of 5. Larry Potter was 5 of 5. Superfan Lisa Fields 2 of 4. The Richard 3 of 3 missed a few just because tardiness. Thrash Pondo. Yeah, you can blame work for being late. That's perfectly fine. 2 of 5. John H says that Larry Storch is 98 years old now.
Wow.
And Doc Savage asks, is Tracy the gorilla still alive? I do not know the answer to the guy that was in the monkey suit, whether he is or is not alive. I suspect he might not be anymore, but I don't know the answer. Spike Spikerson, superfan Spike Spikerson, had 0 points. The school board meeting went crazy. Okay. Don't they all these days? Don't they all? John H, 2 of 5. Emily Miller, superfan Emily Miller, 4 of 5. And Tom says, hey, nobody talked about Magnum PI. What's going on here? Let's fix that right now.
All right,
Magnum PI.
I thought I heard the theme there for a second.
I thought I was starting to hear the theme as well. A little music, at least.
Well,
we didn't talk about a lot of things,
you know,
but Magnum PI, I guess.
Well, here's the deal. Let me ask you this question: have any of you watched the reboot?
No. Kind of like for the same reason I haven't watched the Hawaii Five-0 reboot.
Yeah.
Why? When it was already perfect, you know? Think of something new.
There's no reason for it. The same reason there's no reason for a MacGyver reboot or a Hawaii Five-0 reboot.
Or the Wonder Years or whatever else, you know, that they're rebooting, and it's like, and you're not going to replace Selleck and Hillerman. You're not going to replace those two. They were, well, let's face it, it was an ensemble cast for Magnum, which was, you know, they didn't know what they were going to have once they started, but they kind of grew into each other. And then, of course, the storylines were fantastic. Fantastic storylines. Yeah, I was such a big fan of that show. Yeah, every aspect of it.
Me too. Great show. And John H. points out that Tom Selleck has been on Blue Bloods longer than Magnum PI now.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it is crazy to think of that. But I mean, even though from a longevity standpoint, he has been on Blue Bloods longer, I think if you really kind of think about the iconic role of his career, it is the role of Thomas Magnum. At least that's my opinion.
It was my first episode of season 3, right at the top of the list, Magnum PI. That's all right.
Now he tries to sell you reverse mortgages on your commercials.
Yeah, I wish you wouldn't do that.
Well, you got
better than selling me a walk-in tub, though. As long as he's not doing the walk-in tub, I'm okay with that too.
Not yet.
Here's the deal: you only see those commercials if you're watching MeTV and TV or Cozy. Those are the channels that those commercials are on, and so I see them a lot.
I'm Tom Selleck, and I'm here to talk to you about Depends. Does anybody depend on anything anymore? You can depend on my Depends.
It's only a matter of time. Hey, the Richard wants to know how to contact Dave Sunstrom. What you need to do is go to my channel and then go to the About page, and there's a link on there where you can say, it says like for business inquiries or something like that. Click on the link and you'll see an email address, and you can reach out to me that way. Let's see. Aaron says he made Hawaiian shirts popular again. Did he though? I'm not so sure about that. Superfan Emily Miller says yes. Now, I don't know if it was to that comment, but we'll say it was. She agrees, and I suspect she's a big Hawaiian shirt wearer, Emily Miller. What do you guys think?
I wore Hawaiian shirts for a long time. I still get them every now and again.
I loved how he broke the fourth wall in that show. It was that little form of every now and then when he'd look at the camera,
right,
and it would be just like that acknowledgement. Who knows what it was about, but it was usually something really funny or really ridiculous.
Right.
But,
It wasn't like saying anything, but Norman Fell did it in Three's Company as well. It was the look.
Yep.
The look. Right directly into the screen. He wasn't looking at any of the characters on the show. He was looking at you. And Tom Selleck did it as well. Yep.
Yeah. Love that.
Emily Miller says that she watched all the reboots and they're not bad. So there you go. There's a differing perspective and
you know what? I watched the reboot of the Hawaii Five-0, and I was just clicking through one time, and I didn't know it was Hawaii Five-0. Either I turned it on, it was already on, or something like that, and I had no idea. And I'm like you, I'm kind of iffy on reboots, and stuff. But until they said Hawaii Five-0, it was actually a pretty good show. As long as I didn't think it was Hawaii Five-0. No, really, I'm not kidding. I watched it and I was just like, hey, this is good. I'm like, what show is this? And, watching it through and then commercial Hawaii Five-0.
Kono's a big 300-pound Hawaiian, not a totally hot 120-pound female surfer. This isn't my Hawaii Five-0. Man, oh man.
Too funny. All right. Hey, we probably should wrap things up. Let me do this real quick.
Hey, folks, if you're enjoying this live stream, be like the Fonz and give it a thumbs up. Hey.
Yes, definitely give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel as well. And maybe even, I don't know, why not do something really crazy? And if you're so desired, become a super fan, be a supporter of the channel. It's just a couple of bucks a month. It gets you access to videos early, prioritized response to your comments. I try to always answer those first. And this month, we're going to try something different. We're going to do a members only live stream. So you'll see it right there next to the subscribe button. There's a little join button. I would be very, very appreciative. And thank you to all the folks who are super fans. That would be my friend Justin there in the upper right-hand corner. Braidwood Inn, Lisa Fields, Byron Bushnell, Lance Chafin, Tracy Rothmeyers, Tom Gladstone, Gregory McLaughlin, Beast Nietzsche, Spike Spikerson, Stephen Scott, Emily Miller, Ian, thank you so much as well. Retro
Thank you. Thank you
Ron
as well,
Collins, James Mitchell, and Superplex. And let's do this real quick. Ian, tell us a little bit more about your channel before we go.
Oh, hey, yeah, I got a lot of stuff on there. I do 3 types of videos. I do these shorter YouTube type videos, and I also have a podcast, which is Retro Serial, which is on all podcasts. It's about growing up Generation X, and those are a little longer ones. Those are the ones where, you sit down with a guest and you talk with them about something growing up Generation X. And but I make them available on YouTube. But I do have the shorter YouTube videos, like those 3 unsuccessful cartoons based on successful movies. And then now lately, it has been my joy to be doing live stream. I mean, it has been so awesome to do live stream that you wouldn't believe how awesome it's been. And the fans have been so interactive. So I have basically 3 kinds of videos over there. So there's something, if you like the arts and entertainment and growing up Generation X, please head on over there and hit the subscribe button. Would mean the world to me. And I'm looking to have everybody here on again, at least one more time and on my live stream. And Justin, I got to get you to come on and we'll do an interview and we'll talk about Three's Company. How's that sound?
Sure. That sounds great.
All right, man.
Pat,
I'm going to schedule it.
Okay.
Pat, we're wrapping up season 3, right?
Yes. I have 4 more ready to go, and then a little break, and then I'm going to mix it up a little bit. But for now, you can go in and look at my channel, Golden Rage of TV, and my different my different seasons, as I call them, of retro TV trivia shorts, which, just talks about, like Dave, the good stuff having to do with all our favorite classic TV series and little hors d'oeuvres of interesting facts, which there are many. And I'm thanks to Dave and you guys, I'm over 1,000 subscribers now, so I'm well on my way. I get my view time up. Maybe I'll make a penny from YouTube. Who knows? But I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for the love and the community. And this Dave Sunstrom community is the best. So I feel just blessed to be a part of it and hang out with you guys. And so thanks for everybody that's giving me support too. Oh my God.
Justin, let me ask you this. I don't think you have a channel at this point, right?
I have a couple videos on there, but they're pretty short. I'm not really a creator per se right now.
Well, then you and I need to get together and do another video. So I'd love to at some point. You just reach out to me, give us a topic, and let's get it in the can and get another one out there. It's always fun visiting with you as well. One other thing, Danny, I noticed Danny Staten was very active in the chat. I've got to plug his channel. He's always fun. He has out now, I just watched it this morning or last night, I can't remember when, a review of David Cassidy comic books from the early 70s. He had me rolling.
Yes, me too.
I don't know if you watched it, but he talks about, it's just so much fun to listen to his reactions. I must warn folks, he is a little bit R-rated in his language. He confesses, I don't know if it was during this or the live stream. I think it might have been the live stream where he says he has a little bit of Tourette's. Well, that might be true. But nevertheless, it's a totally fun video. You got to watch his David Cassidy comic book review. Highly recommended.
I'm a huge fan. Huge fan. Especially when it comes across those Karens unexpectedly. Those are yeah.
Lots of good stuff. Gentlemen, I appreciate each one of you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Folks, if you haven't subscribed to Pat and Ian and Danny's channel, get on over there. Click on the little red subscribe button. For heaven's sakes, it costs you nothing. And what it means is that when you launch YouTube goes out there and it fetches the latest videos from these creators, and it just kind of serves it up to you on a platter. And that's exactly what you want. You want it easy to get the content that is the important stuff, which is, quite frankly, music, movies, and television. Right, fellas? What do we call it?
The good stuff.
All right, guys. Let's put a bow on this one. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
You too. Thanks.